Thus, they will also lose sight of the principle of the oldest wisdom, which states that humans are the measure of all things in life because they are, after all, a part of creation. But the time will come when humankind must turn around and become reacquainted with the eternal values of life. Initially only a few will know that humans live not only on Earth but also in the endless expanse of the universe, and that they live not only in the material world but their spirits reach into another world that cannot be grasped by the ordinary physical senses. This other one, the ethereal world, is the true home of the spirit. Therefore, humans should try without ceasing to broaden and deepen their knowledge, love, truth, logic, true freedom, genuine peace, harmony and wisdom, so that the spirit may be perfected and lifted up into its true home, becoming one with creation. Truly, I say to you, those who understand the truth of this message and attain insight through wisdom, will awaken to the obligation of aligning their lives with their destiny of eternal change toward creation. When people are honest and seek, they will not hold any preconceived opinions or prejudices. But the wise do know and are aware of the law of the everlasting flow of eternal change. Therefore, they endeavor to adjust to the grand scheme of events and of progress, because they appreciate the laws of creation, namely, that the cycles of existence must be completed as prescribed by these laws. Wherever life reveals itself, it is based upon the law of the invisible mystery that brings about the eternal change. But persons who disregard and fail to recognize the timeless and everlasting laws and truths must take upon themselves the dire consequences. Lies and hatred will blind such persons and even entire peoples, and they will rush into the abyss of their own destruction. A blind, destructive mania will overcome them, and the heroes among them will be those who are the greatest destroyers. Conflict will permeate people's entire lives, and where there is discord there is no longer wholeness and perfection. But as long as imperfection exists in life, humans must bear the consequences: sickness, misery, injustice, privation, fighting, strife, slavery, erroneous cults and exploitation leading to bloodshed and death. So let humankind beware and awaken, for the laws of creation state only that which is timeless and everlasting is of permanence, of truth and of wisdom, and so it is. Epilogue and explanation. Over a long period of time the translator of the Jmmanuel scrolls wrapped himself in silence without the editor of the translation knowing the reason. The mystery was solved on September 19, 1974, when he received a letter written by the translator in Baghdad, Iraq, on September 14, 1974. Following the epilogue is an English translation of the letter, from which the readers will learn the necessary details. Because of the unexpected loss of the original scrolls, the only evidence was lost, unfortunately. Moreover, the Talmud Jmmanuel is thereby no longer complete. Only 36 chapters have thus been brought together, a little more than a quarter of what made up the original scrolls. Because the editor is somewhat familiar with the remainder of the story of Jmmanuel, he would not want to withhold from the reader the most important events, described here in broad terms, with his mother Mary, his brother Thomas and his disciple Judas Iscariot. Jmmanuel traveled to northern India. On the way he preached in many countries and had to flee frequently because his speeches were revolutionary. Thus his trip to India took him several years, which entailed severe hardships. In today's West Pakistan, high up in the north and in the outermost spurs of the western Himalayas, his mother became very sick and died when Jmmanuel was about 38 years old. After the loss of his mother, Jmmanuel moved on and went over to today's Indian Kashmir, where he kept spreading his teachings. He covered a vast portion of India, in the northern part of the land, and also today's Afghanistan and West Pakistan, because 10 Israelite tribes had settled there after emigrating from Israel. When Jmmanuel was about 45 years old, he married a young and pretty woman, who bore him numerous children. He settled down, like any normal head of a family, in today's Srinagar in Kashmir, India. From there he undertook numerous trips and continued preaching his new teachings. He died at the age of between 110 and 115 of natural causes and was buried in Srinagar. Judas Iscariot died at the age of about 90 and was buried near Srinagar. Joseph, Jmmanuel's firstborn son, continued writing his father's story and left India after Jmmanuel's death. After a 3-year journey he returned to the land of his father and lived in Jerusalem until his death. From India he took along the original scrolls and hid them in the burial cave in which Jmmanuel had lain. He considered that place the safest. As was explained in the foreword, these scrolls were found there, 36 chapters of which are rendered here in translation. Hinwell, September 20, 1974. Billy Edward Albert Meyer, Editor. Letter from Isa Rashid. Post Restandi Baghdad, September 14, 1974. Head Post Office, Baghdad. I write you, dear friend Billy. I am sorry, dear friend, for not having written so long and for not being able to send you additional translations of the scrolls. That has its reason in my fears, which unfortunately have come true now. As I always told you, I was prepared that one day I would be persecuted on account of the discovered scrolls. That has happened now. Just barely was I able to flee from Jerusalem with my family. Now I am staying with good friends in Baghdad where, however, I cannot stay long and must move on soon. Where to, I don't know yet. I will notify you as soon as possible. I have been persecuted by 2 different groups, both Christians and Jews, which was to be anticipated, because the scrolls are not favorable towards either religion. After my lucky escape, a misfortune struck me, which cannot be made undone. First I fled from Jerusalem to Lebanon and stayed there at a refugee camp with my family. But there the Jews located me and, with their military, attacked the camp, which resulted in many deaths. Only with great difficulty my family and I escaped the massacre and we were able to flee once more. But unfortunately all scrolls got lost and they are no longer in my possession. I believe they all burned when the Jews destroyed the homes by fire, but maybe they fell into the hands of the Jews. Then the Israelis announced that they had undertaken a punitive action against Palestinian guerrillas. However, in reality, they, together with some people from the Christian church, were after me and my scrolls. By means of the alleged punitive action they were now able to cover up and falsify the actual reason and purpose of their venture. And because of the disappearance of the original scrolls, any proof is missing that the New Testament of the Bible is an outrageous lie whereby mankind is condemned. Dear friend, unfortunately these are the latest bare facts, and I do hope that you and your family will not meet with the same fate as I. After all, you do have 36 chapters of the Talmud Jmmanuel, and they do represent an immense danger to Christianity, the Jewish faith, Islam and other religions.